morning. It is October the 28th. It is Thursday. I'm Shane Seeley and this is the CBC Morning Report. Leading our news this morning, the St. Michael North Parliamentary Representative Ronald Toppin will not be contesting the next general election. The Barbados Labour Party stalwart made the announcement at a special branch meeting last night at Grisette's Primary School. Now, Toppin, who has won 6 elections, has 27 years as a parliamentarian and a parliamentary representative for that constituency, but 34 overall in the field of politics. Mr. Toppin's recommendation as his replacement is the current St. Michael North Branch President and Treasurer of the BLP, Davidson Ishmael. As he announced his pending departure, the MP said it was being done because he's confident Mr. Ishmael is a worthy replacement in the wings.
Comes a time when the same inner calling that pulled you into politics starts to tell you that perhaps now it's time to pass the baton. And I must say that after 27 years, I'm starting to feel that pull telling me to pass the baton. It's not easy, but as I just said, I will not be contesting the next election. But despite this calling and so on, I must also tell you that I would never have decided to step down and hand over and pass the baton unless I felt that I had the person to pass that baton to. Despite it all, I would have stayed on if I did not feel I had the person. And I must say that I think that I'm going to be handing over to someone who understands the standards set by this constituency and also set by me. And that person, of course, is no less a person than the branch president, Davidson Ishmael.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Mia Moore-Motley says the country owes Mr. Toppin a debt of gratitude, and she too has a high regard for his possible replacement.
I want to thank the people of St. Michael North for giving us, the people of Barbados, Ronald Toppin for the last 27 years as an MP, but for embracing him for 34 years as your brother, your son, your friend, your representative. And I, like Ronald, have seen, have liked, but will not preempt the constitutional right of this branch to do that which is theirs. But I can only say to you that if, since being Prime Minister, there has been one man and one man alone who has been Treasurer of the Barbados Labour Party, he must enjoy the confidence of myself and the officers of the party. And that man has been Davidson Ishmael. And Davidson, I can only say to you that the discipline which you have shown and the attention to detail in working with Ronald, in serving the people of St. Michael North, but also serving this party, in my view, makes you a good consideration for the people of this constituency to determine who can follow in the big shoes.
Prime Minister Mia Moore-Motley there speaking at a special branch meeting of the BLP in St. Michael North. We will take a break, but when we come back, we hear about more deaths here in Barbados from COVID-19 and again, a daily toll of COVID-19 cases close to 400. Details after the break. 3 more people have lost their lives to COVID-19 here in Barbados, bringing the death toll to 149. A 51-year-old passed away at Harsons Point Isolation Facility, and an 85-year-old woman died at the Geriatric Hospital Isolation Facility. The third victim was a 97-year-old woman who was reported dead on arrival at the Accident and Emergency Department of the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. They were all unvaccinated. Meanwhile, the Best dos Santos Public Health Laboratory recorded 391 new COVID-19 cases after conducting 2,078 more tests. Of the 184 males and 207 females comprising those who tested positive, 81 are under the age of 18. There are now 740 people in isolation facilities and 4,674 in home isolation. Now, with 100 days until the start of the Winter Olympics in Beijing, that state in China is promising a simple and safe 2022 Games. Although preparations are anything but simple, as China readies to host thousands of athletes and personnel as it battles COVID-19 flare-ups.
Beijing has entered the final stage of preparations for the 2022 Winter Olympics. With just 100 days left until the opening of the Games, volunteers have been recruited, test events are underway, and medal designs have been unveiled.
With the support of the Chinese people and the international community, we will be able to overcome all difficult challenges, successfully complete preparations, and offer the world a wonderful Olympic event.
Unlike during the Tokyo Summer Games, local spectators in China will be allowed to attend, but regulations will be much stricter. Organizers have released a so-called pandemic playbook to control the spread of COVID-19. All participants, including teams and the media, will be confined to a tightly controlled venue bubble. Vaccination is required. Those who are not will face a 21-day quarantine that lasts longer than the Games itself. Exemptions on medical grounds only will be considered. Daily COVID-19 tests are compulsory. Those who don't comply with the rules could be banned from the event.
Officials here say the 2022 Winter Olympics will be the safest yet. But as organizers enter the final sprint toward the Games, the country is battling a new fast-spreading outbreak of the coronavirus Delta variant. Targeted lockdowns have again been imposed and domestic travel discouraged.
The latest outbreak has spread to 12 provinces and more than 200 cases have been reported. Authorities say 75% of the population is now fully vaccinated. Booster shots are being offered to residents in the capital. The coronavirus isn't the only challenge organizers face. Activists around the world are calling for boycotts, citing human rights concerns, and growing tensions with Taiwan threaten to overshadow the event. Beijing has dismissed all criticisms. Its leaders hope a successful Winter Olympics will underscore China's soft power and position on the world stage.
There's more about how COVID-19 is affecting the sporting world, and the world's best tennis players look to be caught in the middle of a simmering standoff between the Australian government and the host state for January's Australian Open. This after Victoria's Premier said he would not apply for permits to allow unvaccinated athletes to enter the country.
Last week, the local and federal governments indicated that players wouldn't be allowed into the country if they weren't double jabbed against COVID-19. But in a television interview, the Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison contradicted this, saying they could be granted special access if they quarantine for 2 weeks. That hasn't gone down too well, though, in host state Victoria, which is only just emerging from months of lockdown.
I think we just got to be sensible and practical, okay? We want major events in this country. A lot of jobs depend on it. We want Australia to show to the world that we're open, we're getting on with it.
I'm not going to ask and actually require people sitting in the grandstand, people working at the event to be vaccinated while players aren't. So we're not going to be applying for an exemption. So therefore the issue is basically resolved.
Interesting developments in the world of sport as COVID and the Delta variant continue to dominate our news. Time now to hear from Wendy what's coming up on the Thursday edition of Morning Barbados.
Well, good morning to you, Shane, and good morning to our viewers. On Morning Barbados this morning, we'll be going all the way to Nepal, and we'll be hearing from the Haiti ambassador. Along with her, we'll have a number of other exceptional young people, some YouTubers and the like. These stories and more coming up on Morning Barbados.
Thank you, Wendy. Thanks, Wendy. We have some good news this morning coming from the Barbados Revenue Authority, and more news after the break. So we have some good news this morning from the Barbados Revenue Authority. Any day now, Barbadians will start receiving income tax returns from taxes filed earlier this year. However, you're being urged to ensure that your banking information for receiving the return is up to date. The BRA Communications Officer Erica Lazara says failure to address this issue could affect the time it takes to receive your refund.
Normally, refunds start about 6 months or so after filing season, and we're now coming up to that time, and we want to make sure that you get your refund as quickly as possible. And to do that, you need to make sure that your banking details are up to date, because some people, they change banks or they change credit unions and they don't let us know. So you need to log into your TAMIS account, click the update details tab, and make sure that your banking details are correct, because that is how you will be receiving your tax refund. It happens faster, it's electronic, and also make sure your contact details are correct, because if we need to contact you for anything, that we can just give you a quick buzz and we can have a conversation if need be. But make sure that your banking details are correct.
And for further assistance, the Barbados Revenue Authority has launched its new call center. The number is 429-E-TAX. That's 429-3829. The Bridgetown Port has officially welcomed the first cruise vessel for the 2021 winter tourist season. Tourism stakeholders are working assiduously to boost the economy by creating a safe environment for cruise passengers to explore the island. Aurelia Briggs has more.
Cruise liners are back. This morning, Barbados welcomed over 300 passengers on the Viking Orion, the first vessel to arrive on the island for the winter tourism season. Before the suspension of pleasure cruises globally, Barbados welcomed over 800,000 cruise passengers annually, and the island was projected to see record-breaking numbers in 2020. While reflecting on disruptions to the industry caused by COVID-19, CEO of the Barbados Port Inc., Kenneth Atherley, promised a memorable experience for over 300 vessels expected to call on island this year.
This season, we expect to receive 337 cruise vessel calls, having a collective capacity of over 630,000 passengers. And while we do not expect this volume, as many lines are sailing under 70%, we promise that every passenger that sails into Bridgetown and disembarks these vessels will have the most memorable experiences in Barbados.
After much consultation, key players in the tourism industry were able to agree on COVID-19 protocols to keep visitors and locals safe. Chief Product Development Officer at the BTMI, Marsha Aline, says creating a safe space for travelers to enjoy the island is a critical part of jump-starting the economy. She sees the return of cruise ships as the light at the end of the tunnel for tourism-dependent businesses.
Our entrepreneurs, those persons who run attractions, who have sailboats, who, have activity happening, it means that we can have persons again traversing the island in a safe way, but also being able to leave some well-needed dollars, in the economy. And obviously, our entrepreneurs absolutely do need that. So I think it's actually great news. We are very excited for this day, and we sincerely hope that by now, at the end of this season, as we welcome over 300 calls to Bridgetown Port, that we will see a resurgence in the markets from an economical perspective.
All passengers on board the ship are fully vaccinated and are required to produce a negative COVID-19 test before disembarking the ship. Aaliyah Briggs, CBC News.
Barbados will officially have a new Commissioner of Police from Monday. The man appointed to that rank is Assistant Commissioner of Police Richard Boyce. The 42-year veteran received his letter of appointment yesterday from outgoing Commissioner of Police Tyrone Griffith. Prior to his ascension to the top post, Mr. Boyce had operational responsibility for crime in his position as Assistant Commissioner of Police. During his years of service in the force, he was assigned to a range of specialist portfolios, including criminal investigations, special branch operations, and a 6-year stint at the Regional Police Training Center. Prime Minister Mia Motley is hoping to restart the drive of planting 1 million trees next year. Ms. Motley made the point yesterday after she and the British High Commissioner planted 2 trees on the grounds of Illawarra Court. Originally, the target had been to plant 1 million trees by the end of the year, but the Prime Minister says the program was sidelined by the COVID-19 pandemic.
We had hoped to plant 1 million trees. We had literally to put that one side because the same resources I keep making in a small island are doing multiple things. And therefore I hope that next year that is one of the things that we can resume in getting the tree planting going. The Minister of the Environment, the Honourable Adrian Ford, has been very, very passionate on this, and therefore I look forward to his being able to resume this program in 2022 so that more Barbadians can do it. When I speak later today at the Chamber of Commerce, I'm going to be speaking also about the absolute need for us to change our mindset and to understand that we have now to become fully self-sufficient. We must become resilient.
In news further afield now, one of Haiti's most powerful gangsters has demanded that the Prime Minister there, Ariel Henry, resigns as gas stations remain empty and gangs block entry points to the ports holding fuel stores. That was one of his demands for an end to the blockade.
His name is Jimmy Shelze, more commonly known by his childhood nickname, Barbecue. Once a Haitian police officer, he is now the leader of a powerful confederation of gangs called G9, which controls much of Port-au-Prince and its suburbs. With an automatic rifle strapped to his chest, Shelze took us through the garbage-strewn alleyways of La Saline, a sprawling slum. He urged us to show the world the desperate poverty in which millions of Haitians live out their lives without basic sanitation, health care, education, or hopes for a better future. Although he is the feared leader of a violent criminal gang, Shelze appears to be trying to reinvent himself as a leader, a man of the people, battling a corrupt system and the current government led by Prime Minister Ariel Henry, whom Shelze condemns.
We are fighting for another society, another Haiti that is not only for the 5% of the people who keep all the wealth, but a new Haiti where everyone can have food, clean water, so they can have a decent house to live in. Another Haiti where we don't have to leave the country.
Shelze also stands accused of masterminding numerous assassinations and massacres, including one in 2018 that killed up to 25 people. He denies all the allegations.
I'm not a gangster. I never will be a gangster. It's the system I'm fighting against today. The system has a lot of money. They own the media. Now they try to make me look like a gangster.
Charles condemned the kidnapping of 17 U.S. and Canadian missionaries who are being held for ransom by a rival gang.
We condemn all kidnappings that happen in this country. The special one is the missionaries. They're Americans when we talk about missionaries. They came to this country to help us. Today we cannot support any gangs who kidnap people.
A severe fuel shortage has practically shut down Haiti's capital, the result of gangs hijacking fuel trucks and blockading depots. Charles says he can get the flowing again, but says Haiti's prime minister must go.
If Ariel Henry resigns at 8 o'clock, then at 8:05 we will remove all the barricades so that the trucks can come to the fuel depot and fill up, and then the crisis will stop.
Charles says he wants to tear up Haiti's political and oligarchic system by its roots.
This system is criminal. The revolution we're preaching today, we cannot do this without guns, because we have our own guns. This gun is a symbol of our revolution, the revolution against the 5% of those who hold all the wealth of our nation.
As he walked the streets of La Saline, Barbecue was greeted warmly by many. Does this gang leader have ambitions to one day rule Haiti? He certainly talks like a politician, comparing himself to one of Haiti's most revered leaders in its struggle for independence from France in the 18th century.
Jean-Jacques Dessalines was a great man, the father of the nation who fought hard to free Haiti. Today, I am doing the same fighting as Dessalines did. I am following his dream. The dream of Dessalines was to see the wealth of his country be shared equally.
Outlaw, would-be revolutionary, leader of men in arms. The man they call Barbecue is one of the most powerful and enigmatic figures in Haiti today.
Time for sports now, and Jason Holder may get to use his all-round skills for the Windies at the ongoing ICC Cricket World Cup as he has been drafted into the 15-man squad. The event's technical committee, that of the ICC Men's T20 World Cup 2021, has approved Holder as a replacement for pacer Obed McCoy. Now, the former T20 skipper, who has played 199 international matches, including 27 T20s, has been named as a replacement after McCoy was ruled out due to an injury to his right leg. Now, Holder was a reserve as per the allowance for teams to travel with extra players in the view of the COVID-19 quarantine requirements. The 29-year-old will therefore be available for selection against Bangladesh on Friday. The West Indies have lost both of their opening matches in Group 1 to leave them needing results to go their way if they're to make it into the semi-finals and defend their T20 World Cup title next month. Meanwhile, England are zooming ahead on 4 points and they're topping Group 1 of the ICC T20 World Cup, where the West Indies are right now in that same group in the Super 12 stage. This after they continued their perfect start with an 8-wicket thrashing of Bangladesh in Abu Dhabi yesterday. England restricted Bangladesh to 124 for 9. Taimal Mills claimed 3 for 27. The player of the match, Jason Roy, then scorched 61 from 38 balls as England raced to their target with 35 balls to spare. Here are the highlights. So England are on 4 points while the Windies in the same group are yet to get off of the mark. Time now for a look at the weather. The temperature right now is 28.2 degrees Celsius. That volcanic smoke alert is still there because of Las Palmas over in the Canary Islands as those winds bring that ash across our direction. So we'll continue to monitor that, and we know that the Met Office is expected to issue an alert around 10 a.m. So we'll listen out for that. It's feeling like 31 degrees Celsius already. That's what the apparent temperature is reading right now. The relative humidity stands at 71%. The barometric pressure is 1013 millibars this morning, and the winds are coming out of the east at 41 kilometers per hour. There will be a high tide this morning at 12 minutes after 10. The low will be around 12 minutes to 3 in the afternoon. Those seas are smooth to moderate in open water, swells are between 1 and 1.5 meters and holding steady. In Barbados today, we will have a mix of sunshine and clouds with a few brief isolated light showers. And tonight there will be a mix of clear skies and clouds with a few brief isolated light showers. And here is a quick look at the international weather forecast. And that's it for this edition of the CBC Morning Report. I'm Shane Seeley. Morning Barbados starts now.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
And good morning to our viewers. Welcome to Morning Barbados. You can also view us on YouTube and Facebook at CBC Barbados. Feel free to send us your comments and we'll share them on the program. Now, yesterday we had a Barbadian in the house, and something very exciting is going to be happening at the Beltway Battles. Now, we need you to tune in on CBC TV 8 this Friday at 9 to see that action firsthand. But before we get there, don't forget that this is a Barbadian and he wants the public to help him to pick a song to come into the ring on. So send us your suggestions to our Facebook page and we'll share them right here with you. That's CAC Barbados on YouTube and on our Facebook, so we can pick that song for Soldier Brady at CBC Barbados. So he is going to be in the Beltway battle. Let's give him something to be proud to enter the ring on. First up this morning, we are going to be traveling to Nepal, and we're going to be speaking with Preeta Saka, and she is one of the Hey ambassadors. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Preeta. Now, Preeta is not only a Hey ambassador representing Nepal, but she's also the Minister of Education in the Hey Parliament. And at just 23 years old, this environmentalist comes from a country of mountains, and she's very, very much interested in the environment. What stimulated that passion?
So there is no specific reason behind working in this sector of environment, but it started back in 2017 when I started studying environmental science as my career subject. It was back then when I chose environmental science as my career subject and started studying in, which brought more of the interest to work in these sectors and be an active member in different environmental prospects to work for a better environment to live in, not only for myself, not only for my family, not only for my friends, but everyone living in different parts of the world.
Okay, now you've been a big advocate for climate change and you actually helped to coordinate some of those events in Nepal. Tell me a bit more about it.
Yeah, so I started advocating on climate change back in 2018 when I started joining my hands with the young colleagues working in different organizations here in Nepal. But my journey specifically started back in 2018 June when I joined Nepalese Youth for Climate Action, which is a youth-led organization, which is a youth-led network that has been working here in Nepal related to climate change. It works with different young group of people settled in different parts of the country, coordinating with one another and raising the voices against the rising threat of climate change and taking actions against it in different perspectives and different aspects. So there is where I linked myself and started working in the sectors of climate change. Here we mostly work in the sectors of advocacy, advocating on important climate change issues. We talk about different climate change issues that is happening in our country and in different parts of the world. And we also build strong action plans. We raise awareness through school children and college students. We also talk about this to the decision makers and the government people as well. Not only that, we also do different sorts of campaigns and do different activities in our local localities and communities to combat this threat of climate change.
What are some of the biggest and most burning environmental concerns for the people of Nepal right now in terms of their environment?
So talking about the environmental issues here in Nepal, there are a lot of issues that is growing here in context of Nepal. But particularly at the moment, if we have to talk about, the first one is to talk about the disasters that is increasing at a very high ratio. The people living in the mountains are facing the problems of floods. They are facing the problems of droughts, while the people living in the southern part, that's the Tarai region of Nepal, are facing the problems of hurricanes and floods. So the major disaster that the people are facing is the climate-induced disasters they are facing at the moment. Other than that, if you have to talk about the other environmental issues that's going on here in Nepal, that is the pollution that is going around here. There was the situation where all the schools had to be closed, all the offices had to be closed, the transportation was halted for a moment for weeks because of the rising threat of air pollution. So along with that, there are a lot of growing issues here in Nepal. But particularly, if we have to talk about, the first one is climate change itself that we are talking about since many years now. Along with that, the other one is the air pollution that is growing at an exponential rate here in Nepal.
In terms of that air pollution situation, especially with our young children, do you all have the necessary facilities once the respiratory issues and so on are triggered to adequately deal with it? Do you have the unfortunate situation of anyone dying as a result?
No, there is no specific case of dying, but there is a specific case of rising cases of the respiratory disease that you were talking about. There was cases where the schools had to be turned out because there was not even a suitable case where people could come out and breathe. There was a very chaotic situation where people were unable to come outside. They were having eye irritation, they were having headaches and situations around the city here in Nepal, that is Kathmandu. Kathmandu is the capital of Nepal, and Kathmandu itself having such severe issue going around. So we cannot imagine the situation in the other parts of the country, like how the situation could be. So there was not much of the dead cases, like there were no dead cases at all, I can say. But there were cases where there was increasing number of patients of respiratory disease at the hospitals because people were unable to come outside and have the fresh airs they were doing in the past days. So there was
Okay.
quite a chaotic situation at the moment.
You also do some work with the disabled. In fact, the National Indigenous Disabled Women Association in Nepal. You interned there for a bit and did some work with them. Tell me a bit about that work you've done.
Yeah, so I did a month of internship in the organization that works with the disabled women, especially based in here in Nepal. So they were mostly advocating on the rights of the women with disabilities, also belonging to the indigenous community. There I could understand about the people, there I could understand about the women, how their situation was, how the people with disabilities, especially the women, were treated in the communities, how they were discarded in the communities, and they were unable to fight for their rights. rights, how they were struggling to have a good quality of life that normal people have. Not only that, we also talked about different environmental issues with them, to the people with the to especially to the women living in the indigenous community, because they're also a major part of the society. They are contributing to combat the rising threat of climate change. So it was quite essential that they also know about the ongoing issues. So in during that period, I came to know about their situation, their learnings, and their perspectives regarding the environment that could be that we were neglecting in a portion while we were doing our work. We were busy thinking about our own, but we never thought about the people with disabilities, especially the women that were discarded in the society. So it was quite important to bring them into consideration, think from their perspective, and bring them into the platform of decision making. So that was what we did. So it was quite a learningful moment for me, where I learned about how they were, especially their perspective towards the environment, like how they were tackling the situation, how do they think about the environment, how do they want to come and present themselves towards the better environment they want to live in.
Okay, so tell me, in terms of being in the Haiti Parliament and being the Minister of Education, what are some of the issues that you're advocating for there?
Yeah, so especially since you mentioned in the early period as well that I am the Hay, and I represent the Ministry of Education at the Hay Parliament. I especially talk about the sectors of education, how climate change has affected the education, and how important is education to combat the rising threat of climate change. It is very essential that people now understand the value of climate change. It's not only the young people or the children that must be aware or educated on the sectors of climate change, but each and every people living in different parts of the world are now to be aware and educated in the sectors of climate change, so that they can come up with more innovative and better ideas to combat the threat. So in the Hague Parliament, I've been talking about the importance of education, especially the climate education, how important it is in the present day situation to combat the threats of climate change. Along with that, we also talk about different environmental friendly practices and different campaigns to encourage young people and children in the sectors of climate change to put their voices forward in front of others and to come with better and innovative ideas to combat this threat.
How have you been able to get across that information, given that COVID is with us, COVID-19? Have you been able to do your campaigning and your advocacy work as effectively?
Yeah, so currently, since the COVID has been spread all around the world, we have been working in the virtual world. We talk to the people, we talk to especially the young peoples are connected to different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. So we talk to the different young people from all around the world through the virtual media. We share the information we have. We not only that, we also collect their views and ideas from them regarding the climate change on other different environmental aspects they are related to. So we are using the virtual media as a useful source to spread the information, as well as to assess the information from that they have, and bring them to a common platform to discuss and talk about.
Okay, now let's talk a little bit about Preeti herself. We've been talking about all this work you've been doing and all the people you're trying to encourage on that climate change platform to get things altered and improved. Now, you recently graduated with your bachelor's in science. What's next for you on a personal career development level?
Yeah, so recently, a few months back, I just graduated in BSc Environmental Science. So in the further day, I see myself doing the master's, completing my master's degree in Environmental Science as well, because Environmental Science subject is itself a multidisciplinary subject that combines different other environmental aspects. It's not only climate change, it's not only pollution, it's not only biodiversity conservation, but there are a lot of things in it. So I want to explore more on that and achieve more knowledge on that, so that I can bring a better information to the society to work with. I would love to work with more people in the days ahead working in these sectors, bring more of the informations from all around the world, implement those in my countries, because there's still a lack of information in my country. So if possible, if I could bring such information to my country, then I think we could bring more innovative and better ideas to implement in the country, and bring more stronger voices of the young people like us. So in the future, I see myself doing a master's degree, along with that, working with the peoples of like minds and different organizations like Hey campaigns to work with. So That is all that I want to do in my future.
Okay, well, I wish you the greatest of success as you attempt to go along that road. And here's the best of luck to you as well in trying to alter the thinking of the Nepalese people so that we can see climate change as a real threat and do our part to change it around.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your warm wishes. Thank you for having me.
It was my pleasure, and do have a brilliant morning. That was Preeti Saka, a Hey ambassador, and she's telling us all about the work that she's doing there in Nepal. When Morning Barbados returns, we will be looking at some YouTubers, and they'll tell us all about their marketing efforts and why alike we think.
To be doing truth or dare sent to us by our followers. Call up your ex and tell them you made a mistake and you want to get back together. I dare you to both eat a spoonful of salt. I dare you to take a shot of hot sauce, and if you spit it out, take another. Oh my god, I'm not ready for this. I'm so nervous!
And that was Thea Gill and Zoe Hooper. They're two YouTubers with a brand, a channel rather, alike we think. Good morning to you, ladies.
Morning. Hi, good morning, Wendy.
Okay, now I understand you're best friends. You've been that level since secondary school days, and you've both completed the same degree at UWI. Tell us about that.
So we both did the management with a concentration in marketing degree.
And it was just very unexpected. We both went to sign up and
we were like, which one are you doing? And it just so happens that we were doing the same thing. So it wasn't even planned or anything.
Yeah. And then,
oh, okay. Yeah. So I guess alike we think indeed.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay. Now, tell me about this online blog that you have and what brought it about.
Yeah. Well, so we have like a very unique friendship. So when we're out and about, people would be like, oh my gosh, you guys should really have some sort of TV show. You're hilarious. You guys are so fun. And we were like, well, we have to find some way to, you know,
showcase our friendship. So we just decided to start on YouTube, and then eventually we went over to Instagram, and now most recently is with TikTok. So we literally just started. We were just like, okay, we need to like share this with other people because people are telling us all the time.
Okay. Now, you all had something up, it's about 5 years ago, but it's still trending about this crush. Tell me about it.
But this was us having the same crush?
Yeah.
Oh.
I feel like that's something that happens to a lot of people at that age. So like we kind of just like went with it and shared our story online, and then a lot of people could like relate it to us and stuff. So.
Yeah, because back in the day, it was very, you know, into like MSN days and online chat. So we just ended up having the same crush. And we didn't, you know, we didn't let it bother us or anything like that. I think it actually brought us together more.
Yeah.
That's interesting because those things usually force people apart. Now, your parents have given you a great deal of support in what you're doing online.
Yes, definitely. Both of our parents, well, our family members have something to do with the arts.
Yeah.
So I guess it comes really natural to us.
Yeah, they encourage us to be ourselves, you know, promote ourselves, just be authentic. So we've had support from the beginning, and we continue to have great support in it.
Yeah, they're probably at home like watching us like, so hi guys.
Okay, now you said your family members are connected to the arts. I believe Yannick, the soca artist, is your brother, Zoe?
Yeah.
And what's your connection, Thea?
Well, my brother is Mark Jason Welch. He doesn't live here anymore, but he actually used to work at the NCF for a really long time, and he wrote a couple plays for NIFCA and BCC and stuff like that.
Okay, so you have that talent behind you. Now, in terms of your channel, have you set about monetizing as yet?
It's pretty challenging to do
from the Caribbean.
Yeah. I think those things are so much easier to do when you're like in the States or Canada. But where we find the way to have like monetize our channel is through sponsorship. So brands will come to us and ask us to promote their brand on YouTube, and that's where the money aspect will come, but not from YouTube itself,
because we live in Caribbean, so it's kind of difficult.
Yeah, understood. Now, you've also been active with the National Cultural Foundation and the Art Walk and all the new spaces that they're trying to create within the COVID environment. How has that platform been for you?
Oh, that was so good. That was so fun. NCF approached us and asked if we wanted to be virtual hosts for their digital art walk, and we were like, yes, because we really believe in the NCF. And
we believe in supporting the arts, pushing the youth, all of that. So we jumped on board and we had a great time. It was interesting, you know, being virtual host. That was kind of our element because, you know, we're into, you know, YouTube. So we jumped on board and we had a great time.
It was a great experience.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, your friendship having transcended into this realm, having studied the very same things, what's your message in terms of female empowerment and the sisterhood?
Yeah, so we want to just put out there that we're all going through similar things, and, you know, people may see us and say, you know, look at them, but we're going through the same thing, and we want to make it like comfortable for girls to come to us, ask us about anything, whether it be positive, negative, that we just want to be that platform that they go to, that they know that they can see this strong female friendship that's flourishing.
Also, I think us as girls, we all go through the same thing. So like when we share our stories, others feel comfortable to share theirs as well.
It becomes relatable.
Yeah, it's like a little community related.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're building that brand out. Now, outside of being on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, What else are you doing with your marketing degrees? Are you working for any companies presently? Are you helping other people to build their brands, do their development? How's that part of it going?
Yeah, so we're currently both working for marketing agencies.
Not the same one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we both work for a marketing agency, and yeah.
I work for Nation International.
And I work at Be Social Barbados.
Okay, so you're enjoying the spaces you're in and doing what you love and being paid to do it.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, it's perfect. It's great.
Okay, so how are you finding time for the online activity, you know, with all the COVID social distancing, this and that? How are you really finding enough time? Is the channel doing as much as you want it to do at this point?
Yeah, no, it's obviously very challenging.
Yeah.
You know, you can't do those face-to-face collaborations you would normally do. Even like meeting up, you know, we don't want to always, you know, be together. You want to, you know, enforce the protocol, stay apart.
Yeah. We actually tried doing like a separate video. So what we did was she recorded from her house and I recorded from my house, and we kind of like edited it
Together, yeah. So
And
we
our
did
followers
that.
actually
They
like
liked
that.
it. We
Yeah.
did that like in the deep
Beginning.
beginning of COVID, the
Yeah.
lockdown, and from there, you know, we just try and find different ways to continue putting out content.
Yeah.
Okay. What other content do you think at this point you can add to your mix that the public really needs?
Yeah, I think mainly just kind of talking through how we've like our life situations and like how we're feeling, like mental health, or just
especially with COVID and everything, it's really important to speak about that stuff. What else could we add?
I'm trying to think. You know, anything. I mean,
Some
we
additional
do-
laughter, maybe.
Yes. So we do like videos and stuff. So just anything to spread that positive energy, you know, make people laugh, because during this time you need
Definitely
to
need it.
laugh.
You definitely
need
need
to
it.
laugh. And once our audience is laughing, we are happy creating our content.
Okay. And what about the educational aspect of being online? You know, ensuring that people know about certain things that they may not be aware of at this particular point. How much of that have you been able to do?
Yeah, so a good example is, you know, we vlogged our COVID vaccine experience.
Oh yeah.
And that was a way that we can kind of show the public like how we experienced it, our thoughts. I mean, obviously they're just opinions, but now everything is online. So if you're able to have this platform to provide information, I think just go for it. And we just try and put out as much information as we can. Like,
also, when we were in school, we actually was doing a little bit of vlogging and stuff like that. So people would actually ask us like for advice on how we got into the University of West Indies, if we liked the course we're doing.
Yeah, and
stuff
similar
like that.
with jobs as well.
Yeah.
Like, how should you apply for a certain job?
Yeah.
Certain things to add to your CVs, different things like that, and
we're so happy to help.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're happy to hear that. And our last area, brand promotion. How is it for you promoting individual brands who might approach you through your social media platform as opposed to those with work? Has there been any conflicts at any point?
Well, what we do is if someone approaches us separately, we always push, like we think first. We're like, well, we have this platform with 2 people that we can offer you, and then we go from there. There's never been any conflict. If she gets brand deals, I support her. If I get brand deals, she supports me, and then obviously when we both get it, it's great. So, yeah.
Okay, so just tell me quickly what else is in store for Zoe and Thea?
Yeah, just continuing being us, our authentic self,
spreading our friendship online,
spreading positivity,
making people laugh.
And I think we just want to continue doing that. When the world opens up more, we'll be traveling, interacting with people. We love connecting with people. So we'll just continue doing us.
Okay, I want to thank you I want to thank you for joining us on Morning Barbados. Thea Gill and Zoe Hooper, two YouTubers, alike we think, and also alike they talk, because you realize they know exactly how to finish each other's sentences. Thank you very much, ladies, for joining us this morning, and do have a brilliant day.
Thank you,
Bye-bye. Morning Barbados will return in a bit, and we will have our crumbs question of the day. But before that, it's more news with Shane Seeley.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's time now for some more news with Shane Seeley.
Here's your 7 a.m. headline news, and there will be a new candidate contesting on the BLP ticket for the St. Michael Northwest constituency when the next election is called. Ronald Toppin has announced he will not be contesting the next general election. The BLP stalwart broke the news during a special branch meeting last night. Here's what he had to say.
There comes a time when the same inner calling that pulled you into politics starts to tell you that perhaps now it's time to pass the baton. And I must say that after 27 years, I'm starting to feel that pull telling me to pass the baton. It's not easy, but as I just said, I will not be contesting the next election. But despite this calling and so on, I must also tell you that I would never have decided to step down and hand over and pass the baton unless I felt that I had the person to pass that baton to. Despite it all, I would have stayed on if I did not feel I had the person. And I must say that I think that I'm going to be handing over to someone who understands the standards set by this constituency and also set by me. And that person, of course, is no less a person than the branch president, Davison Ishmael.
On the COVID front now, 3 more people have lost their lives to COVID-19 in Barbados, bringing the death toll to 149. A 51-year-old man passed away at the Harrison Point Isolation Facility, and an 85-year-old woman died at the Geriatric Hospital Isolation Facility. The third victim was a 97-year-old woman who was reported dead on arrival at the Accident and Emergency Department of the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. They were all unvaccinated. Meanwhile, the Best dos Santos Public Health Lab recorded 391 new cases of COVID-19 after conducting 2,078 more tests. Of the number, 184 males and 207 females comprising those positive tests, 81 were under the age of 18. There are now 740 people in isolation facilities and 4,674 people in home isolation. Barbadians will in the coming days start receiving income tax returns from tax filed earlier this year. However, you're being urged to ensure your banking information for receiving the return is up to date. The BRA Communications Officer Erica Lazar spoke to the Morning Report, and she says failure to address this issue could affect the time it takes for you to receive your refund.
Normally, refunds start about 6 months or so after the filing season. And we're now coming up to that time, and we want to make sure that you get your refund as quickly as possible. And to do that, you need to make sure that your banking details are up to date, because some people, they change banks or they change credit unions and they don't let us know. So you need to log into your Tamis account, click the update details tab, and make sure that your banking details are correct, because that is how you will be receiving your tax refund. It happens faster, it's electronic, and also make sure your contact details are correct, because if we need to contact you for anything, that we can just give you a quick buzz and we can have a conversation if need be. But make sure that your banking details are correct.
And for additional assistance, you can call the Barbados Revenue Authority's new call center at 429-E-TAX. That's 429-3829. And Barbados will officially have a new Commissioner of Police from Monday. The man appointed to that rank is the Assistant Commissioner of Police, Richard Boyce. The 42-year vet received his letter of appointment yesterday from the outgoing Commissioner of Police, Tyrone Griffith. Prior to his ascension to the post, Mr. Boyce had operational responsibility for crime in his position as Assistant Commissioner of Police. During his years of service in the force, he was assigned to a range of specialist portfolios, including criminal investigations, special branch operations, and a 6-year stint at the Regional Police Training Center. And that's your 7 a.m. headline news. I'm Shane Seeley. Back to you, Wendy.
Why, thank you, Shane. And he's going to be the top cop on a great day, Shane. Anyhow, it's now time for a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll have our crumbs question of the day.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And it's time for the anticipated moment, the crumbs question of the day. 228-5562, 228-5563. And this Thursday's question is, who founded Codrington College? Who founded Codrington College? That's our crumbs question this morning. If you know the answer, call us 228-5562 and 228-5563. And perhaps you also might want to tell me, what is Codrington College and what's done there? Do you know? Crumbs Bakeries. Who founded Codrington College? We're a bit slow this morning. I usually have the callers waiting. 228-5562, 228-5563. Do you know the answer? Or are you still on Google? Good morning.
Hi.
Yes, good morning to you.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Who founded Codrington College? Who founded Codrington College?
Christopher Codrington.
And you're absolutely sure?
Yes.
And what is Codrington College?
It's an institute for people that are studying theology, studying to be priests and ministers of the clergy.
And you are indeed correct. I want you to stay on the line and give your information to our producer. That's our crumbs winner. She knows who the founder is, and she also knows exactly what is done at Codrington College. Congrats to you. We'll be back after the break.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
And it's Exceptional Youth Thursday, and it's time for us to boast, but in a different way. Mackenzie Bovell boasts Blackout Art Studios. That's the name of his brand. And Mackenzie at only 17, her brand. And Mackenzie at only 17 is doing some wonderful things in terms of business. Good morning to you, Mackenzie.
Good morning.
Yes. Now tell us about Boast.
Well, Boss is a 3-year-old business that started off as just paintings and drawings. We basically advertise commissions on wild effects, on whatever people can imagine, really.
Okay.
And recently added, we started doing, well, I started doing bags as well as that, and started doing things like refining details. Don't know if you can see them.
Yes, it's a special stitching on the handle. Yeah, okay.
Right, and then we also started doing placement mats and pillows as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and you're also adding tie-dye, I believe?
Yes, tie-dye and curtains.
Oh,
don't
so
have
you're...
it on display right.
Okay.
Don't have it on display right now.
Okay, so you're in time for Christmas then, if you're going to be doing curtains. Okay, tell me what's so different about Mackenzie's curtain, a Bose curtain, as opposed to a in-store curtain?
Well, I really noticed that the in-store curtains seem kind of plain, so we would be starting with things like African pride, materials and fabric.
Okay, so I can be Afrocentric at my window.
Yes, that's the idea.
Okay. Now, if I wanted to say get a special set, if I had a room to redesign, how can Boast help me?
Well, you have a very clear description and write down everything and get everything to the level of detail that you give. So you have to be very clear on the detail. And all of the things are custom. You'll be the only one with this set.
Okay, so we don't get any replication, no duplication.
No.
So my neighbor
Everything
won't have
is
what
custom.
I have. Okay.
No.
Now, what brought you to this and at 17?
Well, I always wanted to start my own business from the time I was 10, actually. It's just been taking a very, very long time to kick off.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried a lot of things. It started with the art, and then I transferred into jewelry, and I started to teach myself other different things.
Okay. Do you still do as much of the on-canvas work and drawing, painting, things like that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Tell me
Would you like to see them?
Yeah, and what are some of your interests in terms of what you like to depict? Do you have a love for a particular type of scenery?
I do like serialism and putting two images together, which means some of these ones that I do come out a little creepy to some people. But all I see, there's a recent post on my IG that I created off of a photo actually with two petals.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you basically will design just about anything. You just like to be visual and like to create.
Yeah, just need a very clear description and anything you can imagine I could create.
Okay, that's wonderful. Now, how supportive has your family been in this process at 17? You know?
Well, my mom has been very supportive, and she helped me out a lot these past years in building up my clientele, building up my confidence, and to actually do this interview, actually.
Okay, so you were a little jittery?
Very.
Oh, well, I'm not scary, so you can be comfortable, yes? Now,
Yeah.
you said it's all about having my idea clear in my mind. Now, this is what I'm thinking about. I want to have some curtains, some throw cushions, and a piece of artwork on the wall that they're close to. I say want to depict, let me see what part of Bridgetown I like best. Okay, I want to make it look like the lights at Independence. What can you think up for me?
But if you want to make it like the lights, I could think of a nice sheer curtain that as the light hits in, it will do a kind of visual effect on the walls. And I can also do a picture of town square, so as the light hits, it will give it a nice effect as if the independence colors are showing on the painting.
Okay, so therefore I'm gonna have some blue and some yellow sheer curtains.
Yeah.
And what about my throw cushions? What kind of intricate designs can I expect in those?
Well, it depends on what you want. I could tie-dye with some bleach and some different colors to make it like black and yellow all together, or if you want them plain and as separate colors and just want the one color embroidered with the trident and beads, if that's what you prefer.
So you do embroidery. Is this by hand or do you have an embroidery machine?
Yes, by hand. Most of my things are by hand, but that is an additional cost because it takes me so long.
Right, I was
So
just
really
about to ask that. How long would it take me to do a trident?
Well, trident shouldn't be too long. We might probably get it back in at least 2 days or half a day, depending on how large the pillows need to be. Because I do pillows that take up the whole length of the couch or the bed. So it depends on what size you may want.
Okay, so it's kind of like a bolster pillow. So when I come to you, I get the full pillow or I just get the sham that's going over the covering? Well, the stuffing, that should be.
Oh, you get the full pillow. You get everything. And everything be ready.
Okay, so it's a one-stop shop there.
Yeah.
Okay, now in terms of your business development, what more are you looking to do to be able to grow your business? Have you approached any of the funding agencies, anything like that?
Well, I have been looking at going to trust finance, but I don't know how I feel about borrowing money as yet.
Why? Because you're thinking that your client base may falter and then you might have trouble catching up with the payments or something like that, or you just don't like the idea of a loan?
No. It's just that at the current point I am 17, so I will have to wait till I'm 18 to do so. But the only thing would be, I don't really like owing others money.
But you know that it takes money to gain money.
Yes, I do, which is why I've been working a lot harder to try to gain more money and open accounts instead of borrowing money.
Okay, well, that's a good plan there. And you know, of course, you can still reach out to those agencies for some advice. Even if you don't want to borrow as yet, they can also give you some technical tips along the way.
Yes, I had planned to do that.
Okay. Now, you've finished school altogether now, and it's just the business you're concentrating on, or you're doing some other studies?
Actually, well, the classes are on hold for now, but I actually go to class with the Youth Empowerment Program.
Okay, and how are you liking that?
I've been liking it very well, but it's been on hold because of COVID, so I haven't been there for a long time.
Okay, but I'm sure when you get back, things will pick up and you will be happy. Well, Mackenzie Bavell, I wish you and your Boast Blackout Art Studios all the best of success, and let's hope that you can keep up with the Christmas work that will come your way. How can I reach you?
You can reach me at 285-9026, or you can go on my IG, Blackout Art Studios, on private message for orders and more things to find out what more I do.
Okay, Mackenzie.
But you have to remember clear details.
Okay, so that you get exactly what you say you wanted and there's no mistakes along the way.
Yeah. To lock
Okay.
in your order, you will simply pay half to
Okay.
start off.
Well, that's good to know. Good business sense there moving ahead. Mackenzie, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and I wish you all the best in your Blackout Art Studios.
Okay, thank you very much. Bye.
You're most welcome. Bye-bye. When Morning Barbados returns, we'll be speaking with another duo of artists, and they will tell you all about their brand, Exora and Amor Email. And it's time now to meet some more exceptional youth. Our young people are designing the world that they want. And we have two with us this morning in Izora Dean Devonish, an artist, and Amor Knight Miller. They are 20 and 19 respectively, and they are looking to alter this world. Good morning to you, ladies.
Good morning.
Now, let's go first to Izora. And you refer to yourself as an expressionist.
Yes, I do. In my mind, an expressionist artist is a person who looks at the world around them through a very specific and a very objective point of view. It doesn't necessarily rival traditional, very realistic art, but it kind of opposes it in a sense, whereas like what you make of the art and the space and the environment and the people around you, how the feelings that it evokes from you, and then how you express yourself through your medium.
Okay, and how does that medium bring about Zora's world?
Well, my two favorite mediums that I say I would specialize in is printmaking and then painting. I find those are the best sources of medium that can evoke the boldness and the vibrancy and the expression that I like to convey in my pieces.
Okay, now it's time now to switch to Amor Knight Miller. She is 19 and she is an artist and designer with a passion for creativity. Inspired by avant-garde, she's the creative director of Amor Email, the brand. Tell me about it.
Wow, being an artist is just so vast and wide. You can't pick your inspiration for just one or two things. Life itself has been such a huge inspiration for my art, my design, my aesthetics. everything that I see from my day-to-day life goes into how I go through my creative process, you know. And although I do go to the more surrealism type of side, I do tend to get a lot of stuff from nature. I do like the Renaissance period in terms of architecture, designing, the color schemes. You know, those things matter. And that definitely does affect me in terms of my art.
Okay. And in terms of your brand, email, um, what is it all about? What are you offering me when I come to you?
Well, my brand is solely based off of the classy chic woman. You get some pieces based off of fabric manipulation, drapery styles, some exaggerated sleeves. You know, I like to work with fabric. I like to, you know, play around with movement, especially in my pieces. Um, and depending on what type of period I am in my life, depending my collection might be for example, my last collection was a black and white collection, and all of the pieces were based off of the beauty of black and white. So my brand really goes based off of my aesthetics and the time that I am in my life. And yeah, so you can really get some nice, chic, classy, elegant pieces from me. Especially dresses for evening wear, cocktail wear, you name it.
Okay, now you have recently applied to study at the Savannah College of Art and Design in the US. How's that going?
Wow. We actually got accepted in the SCAD, Azor and I, and that has been an amazing experience. It has been stressful, but it's been really, really beautiful. And both Azor and I have some scholarships actually. So, you know, I worked really hard for mine. Azor did also. And it's really just a great opportunity to, you know, get out there, make your move in the world, make your mark. And we're just really, really, really proud of ourselves right now.
Okay, if I can go back to Izora now to tell us about the art show that you two are planning together and how you're looking to combine your styles to make it worthwhile for me to come out and be a part of it.
Yeah, so definitely, Amor and I, we're dear friends, and we came together after like realizing that we're going to the same school, and we got this amazing opportunity to attend and these scholarships. But we also wanted an opportunity before we leave to showcase our artwork and really let Barbados know who we are before we then go overseas and make our mark on the world. So at this art show, you can really look forward to an immersive art experience. So you can meet the visual arts with the wearable arts, and they kind of come together as one in like a really lovely symbiotic relationship, and they play off of each other really well. The contrast between Amora's avant-garde creations with her fashion, and then with my bold and vibrant artwork with my pieces, the aesthetic, they come together as one so beautifully. So when you come to Sage Bistro and you go to this art show, you'll be surrounded by these beautiful pieces of art on display on the walls, on the tables, all over the place, live painting as well. And then there's also going to be a fashion show moving through the restaurant, moving through the bistro. So you can see Amora's beautiful work on these beautiful models walking by as you sip on your wine, as you have your cheesecake, as you have your lunch. And then all of these pieces will be on sale and available to the public. So you can come, enjoy yourself for lunch, and then take in this wonderful artistic experience.
Okay, can you repeat the first name of the bistro? I just heard bistro. Where and
Yes,
the dates?
Sage. Yes, it's Sage Bistro and it's on Bay Street. It's recently opened, I think not more than 2 months old, and Amor and I found it on Instagram. Beautiful aesthetic there. You can follow them as at Sage Bistro on Instagram. Have You can contact them via their DMs. It's a wonderful place to sit down, and then it's the perfect canvas for us to then bring in our art and almost elevate it to another level where it's like the first kind of experience in Barbados where you get the fashion and the art coming together at this level by these two young Barbadian artists. And it's an amazing opportunity to come out and support the youth and support Amor and myself before we go to SCAT.
Okay, Amor, what are the dates and times for me to come see your lovely pieces?
Okay, so Sage, we're gonna be at Sage on December 10th to 12th. You can come anywhere between 10 and 4. And it's really a sweet experience. You know, you don't have to come through for the whole day. Let's say you wanted to get some breakfast. They have an awesome breakfast menu, and you can come for lunch. You can just come for a sip of wine, or you can just come to support us. We'll be glad to see you guys there.
And I will be able to purchase my artwork and clothing throughout that time at Sage Bistro.
Of course.
Okay, well, I wish you two ladies all the success as you go off to school. I can see you're passionate about what you do and are interested in fine-tuning those skills which you already have. So best of luck to you. Thanks for joining us here on Morning Barbados, and keep moving and pushing on. And I expect to see big things from both of you on the world stage. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, that's Izoradine Devonish and Amor Knight Miller. Two young ladies. They are heading off to school in the U.S. art design school, the Savannah College of Art and Design. So we wish them the best of luck. Morning Barbados will be back in a bit. Time now to meet some more exceptional young people. And this time we're going to be going to the kitchen, in fact, to the oven. We'll be meeting the owner of Z's Sweet Treats. And she's only 14 and a student at the Aline, but she's already the proud owner and chief baker of Z's Sweet Treats. Good morning to you, Zakia Sandiford.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning to you, my dear. Now, you are in the kitchen and baking away. What led you there? Are you a home ec student, or was it just out of a passion?
It was out of passion, definitely, because I find in kitchen, I can be myself and I don't have to pretend to be someone else in the kitchen. So there I can be myself. So it's better, it's a passion, sorry.
Okay. Now, you decided to start during the pandemic. What led you there? Why did you think people would want these sweet, tasty, delectable goodies that you'd be baking up?
Well, if you're locked in the house, not everyone is good in the kitchen. So I decided, well, I can give you a taste.
Okay. And what am I tasting? What are some of the things I can expect to come out of your oven?
Well, you can have cheesecakes, cupcakes, any pastry. I do donuts. I also do cheesecake jars, but they don't come out of the oven. I do cookies, and I'm starting to do other things as well.
What are these other things?
Black cakes. I'm also trying some other things like macaroons and truffles, and I'm also trying to expand a little bit more.
A good truffle is so exciting. Are you going to be using Barbadian flavors? What is your passion in terms of what you put into your cheesecakes and so on?
Well, cheesecakes are my favorite thing to make actually because I find well I can try so many different flavors and the decoration part is the best part and I find so much people like cheesecakes and I think that's the best part that a lot of people like them.
Okay, so that means you're going to get high sales.
Yes, please, definitely.
Okay, now you've been inspired by just watching a number of different people online and so on. But do you want to pursue it as an area of study or it's just a hobby for now?
I want to pursue, yes, please. I want to go abroad to learn and expand my knowledge.
Okay, and how has Allen School been to you in terms of helping you on this pathway? Because sometimes there are people who are in the kitchen, but they don't actually do home ec at school.
Well, my teachers are a great help because they help me in parts that I'm not able to get help other places. So if I have a problem or a question, I can definitely go to my teachers.
Okay, well, that's good. And what about the support at home in terms of this business, only at 14?
But I have a lot of support systems, especially my mom and my cousins. They're always there for me. I'm willing to try and test anything that I'm doing. And if I need help, I can definitely count on them also.
Okay, now that is wonderful. Now, about a month ago, you started doing the jars, the cheesecake jars. Tell me why you started on that particular path.
Well, my cousin, she actually really loves cheesecake, and that was my inspiration there because I thought, well, if I can do cheesecakes in the oven, can I try them to be in the fridge? And so I wanted a cute way to give someone something that they can eat on the spot, or if they want a little bite or nibble, they could just get up and go for it. So I decided to try them in a jar, and that was actually a very good idea.
And you know, actually are supplying restaurants as well, which is good. How have you been making the connections? Do your parents help you there or your cousins? How do you get your clientele?
My WhatsApp. I have some friends that also help me. So we try to post posters and try to interact with everyone on Instagram or WhatsApp, whatever the case may be. If I go out, I try to tell people, well, I have my business, you can follow me or you can contact me so that you can have a taste of what I'm doing.
Okay, now tell me a bit about the truffles and the macaroons that you're going to be trying.
Well, I always see macaroons and I tell myself I want to try these. I have done some research and I found out that they're a little hard to make. I've tasted them one time and when I tasted them, I absolutely fell in love. So, and the truffles, my cousin, she is telling me all the time, you have to try them, you have to try them. So I am making progress on trying, sorry.
Okay, so they will help you and let you know exactly when you've gotten that recipe where it needs to be. Now, you have not been daunted in pursuit of your Z's Sweet Treats business. And you're a strong believer that it doesn't matter what age, if you want to go for it, go for it. How are you fueling your passion?
But I try to remind myself daily that what I'm doing is such an exceptional thing because you don't see much teenagers going out for their dreams because people always say, well, you can't do that, you're too young. Don't believe it because at first I was a little scared because it was like so much people this big. What if I don't make it? But then I tried and I tried and I tried to remind myself every day that it will get better and better. And I try to practice as much as possible.
And that's the important part there. I realize you say you're always in the kitchen doing trials and making sure that it's just the right mix for your clientele. Now, do you offer specialized treats? Like, say, for example, I wanted cupcakes in a guava flavor for a particular event. Do you do things like that?
Yes, please. If you want a flavor, I will try it before I am doing it for you, and then I would like expand and I will try to perfect it, and then I will see what happens and I will get some feedback, and then I will let you know.
Okay. Now, Independence and Christmas are coming up. Do you have anything special planned in terms of deals and mixed boxes of goodies?
Yes, please.
Well, tell me about them.
Well, for Independence, I'm doing a treat box. It will have in some things like nut cakes, sugar cakes, cassava, sorry, cookies, and sweetbread. And for Christmas, I offer whole cheesecakes and whole cakes and sweetbreads. And then this year, I'm trying some rum cake. So that will be something new to add to my menu.
Okay. Well, Zakia, I wish you all the best with that menu. And you enjoy making those sweet treats, and I'm sure that a lot of people will enjoy buying them. That is Zakia Sandiford. She's the owner of Z's Sweet Treats. Tell me quickly how I can find you on Instagram.
You can find me at ZS_Sweet Treats, no capitals, no spaces, or you can contact me at 241-6344 or 249-1825.
Okay, thank you so much, Zakia, and best of luck to you, and it was a pleasure having you this morning.
Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. When Morning Barbados returns, we will deal with the FEMLEX cohort. We'll be bringing you yet another ambassador.
Asks, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
And we're back with yet another exceptional young lady. She's Ria Oliver, a Femlex cohort ambassador. Good morning to you, Ria.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning to you. Now, you are in the Femlex program. How were you chosen to be a part of it?
The selection process was, we were handpicked by our founder, Miss Gabrielle Gay. She wanted to have the best legal aspiring students and aspiring lawyers rather, and she selected us by having various conversations with us and meeting us through our law program in school.
Okay, now coming to a stage like this one you're on now is not new to you because you're accustomed to public speaking. Tell me a bit about that and maybe if that had any impact on you wanting to become a lawyer as well.
Yes, so as a student at the St. Vincent Girls High School, I was always very vocal and I was really good at just having oratory skills, and my teachers saw that in me and they selected me to go in for public speaking, and gladly enough I won, and I am still the national public speaking champion of 2016, something I'm very proud of. And I believe that, just being vocal on many different topics allows me to see how I could be intertwined with law, because that's where you can advocate, you could change things through policy, and, that's something I've just always been interested in.
Now, when you started, you would have graduated with distinctions in business-oriented and scientific subjects, but now you found yourself heading toward a legal career. Why the shift?
Yes, so at our secondary school, we didn't have any, legal subjects that we were allowed to do. So I did history and English and everything that would allow me to do law and facilitate that transition between secondary and community college. So I did subjects pertaining to my law degree, which would allow me to have some background in it.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. Now, you also give your time not just for studying, but you also volunteer for some nonprofit organizations.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
You're not only into studying, but you also do some volunteerism with not-for-profit organizations. Tell me about that.
Yes. So while I was in community college, I would sacrifice my evenings to help other children within my community to be able to do math or English courses that they were having troubles in. And by spending time with them and trying to facilitate a better learning environment for them, they would get that extra help that they would need. And that was something that I enjoyed doing. It was a really great experience, and it's something that I wish to do more of in the future.
Well, how many children would you say that you happen to help in that time?
My community is small, but I would say about 10 to 15 students, and that was really great. It was a small number, but it was a really big impact because, it's easy for students to become idle or led astray, and the social stigmas that are attached to the community I grew up in were somewhat negative, and I wanted to be able to make a positive impact in some way, whether it was by just helping them or being a role model to them. It was a really big impact.
Okay. Now, in terms of your interest in law, what's the specific area that you wish to go into?
I would say I'm interested in maritime law because it's it's extremely vital for any type of occurrence on water and our geographical location. We're all surrounded by water, and it would give me the chance to be able to facilitate the development of the Caribbean region through promoting trade and commerce and anything water related, really. And that's just something I'm interested in.
Okay. In terms of your work as the FEMLEX cohort ambassador, what stage of the program are you at now?
So, apart from the BYBT sessions that we have on Wednesdays, on Thursdays we have our legal luminary sessions where we get to speak to extraordinary people about many different topics. So far, we've done budgeting with the BYBT, we've done public speaking with Shamar Wedderburn. He gave us so much tips on, public speaking and how well we could do those things and how comfortable we need to be. It's just tips about stuff. I think the FEMLEX would have facilitated these meetings so that we could have the soft skills necessary to become, lawyers.
Now, you have been handpicked, as you would have said before, but what other opportunities do you think should be out there for our young women to be able to develop themselves, not just with soft skills, but to have access to other areas that they may be lacking in? And you mentioned your community, not having the best image publicly type of thing. But for young ladies who come from those types of backgrounds, what more would you want to do for them if the power was in your hands?
Reaching out. I think just having someone that I look up to, someone that I see as a role model that, wanted to come into my community and show me that they could make changes and they have done things that are really amazing. And it would make me as a young person, I'd love to become that person or try to strive to do that. So I think community outreach in terms of showing people what can be done is really, really amazing. And I think that there should be more legal mentorship programs like this. There should be more mentees out there that are looking for mentors where we could, have that conversation about transitional steps, how to do certain things, the things that we can't get from black and white law. Like, there's so much to be
There's more that goes
said
beyond
and
the
so much to be
textbook.
taught.
Is that
What did
what
you
you're
say?
looking? There's more that goes beyond the textbook.
Yes, there is.
Okay. Now, outside of UE here, have you been able to interact or do any more volunteerism while you're in this space at Cave Hill?
Not necessarily. This program was the first interaction I've really had to do anything good, whether it be for myself so that I can then help others. I think that we should have more things like this, but as of right now, not yet.
Okay, the books are keeping you busy.
Very.
Now, what are your aspirations in terms of the completion of your degree? What do you want to be? What do you want to achieve at the end of this cycle?
When I'm finished, I would like to pursue my master's. I want to, continue my education as far as I could go, and that's something I've always wanted to do. I think education is very important, especially for young girls. And coming from a developing island, it's really hard, to have funds for facilitating learning and just going up that ladder. And that's something I will always strive to do. So, yes.
And you're pushing for honors, are you?
Of course.
So where are we going to be hearing? We're going to hear Ria Oliver, first class.
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, I hope that you are able to meet that goal. Outside of your academic ones, what are your other personal pursuits? What do you do for fun here? I mean, you're at Cave Hill, you're from St. Vincent. What more have you been getting up to?
In my spare time, I dabble in digital drawing. I like to be creative. I like to do things with my hands. Um, so I have my own art page on Instagram. It's like an outlet for me where I get to showcase my, artwork outside of being a law student.
Okay. And what kind of, you said digital art. What are some of the things that you like to be able to put down on paper? What are some of
Can
the
you repeat that?
images? No, I was asking you what are some of the images that you're fond of in terms of your expression?
I love West Indian contemporary art. I love, seeing our people. I love to depict the things that they do, whether it be through their fashion sense, whether it be through their artistry. And I just like to capture that image and put it in my own little artsy way.
Okay. Well, that will keep you company and it will also keep your mind working because we have to have that balance of academia and artistry. Ria Oliver, Femlex Cohort Ambassador, I wish you all the best in the program. You're in your mentorship stage now, and then it's UE exams. I wish you success in those as well. So keep flying that flag proud for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And as I said, I wish you every success. It was a pleasure having you here on Morning Barbados.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. That was Ria Oliver, one of the ambassadors in the Femlex cohort. And that's been Morning Barbados, our exceptional youth. Let's keep pushing them all the way.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados.